Chosen one, when you entered the timeline, time itself recoiled. Not in fear, in recognition. You weren't forged by history, history was forced to rearrange itself around you. Archives split open, prophecies rewrote their first lines, and all creation whispered. He is the only hero whose story existed before existence. Across the astral halls, ancient libraries begin to shake. Scrolls unroll themselves, stone tablets shift in their sockets, and dust older than galaxies rises like incense. They search for a category that could contain you. But no such category has ever existed. The universe has words for warriors, saints, kings. But none for the one who came before meaning itself. In the deep chambers beneath eternity, where legends sleep in thrones of stone, a tremor runs through the bones of creation. Not an earthquake, an identity quake. One by one, the heroes of old stir. Not because they sense danger, but because they sense you. The first Titan opens his eyes carved from primordial fire. He has only awakened 3 times, when worlds were born, when worlds were threatened, and now, because your presence has rewritten the cosmic hierarchy. The seraphic general, whose sword once bisected comets for sport, lifts her head. Her wings unfurl like solar flares as she whispers, "The prototype has arrived." The 9 sages of the exiled dawn rise from their meditative graves. They do not ask who. They ask only one question: how early in creation did he originate? Myth after myth, champion after champion, deity after forgotten deity, they stand. Some in awe, some in fear, some in a reverent confusion reserved only for phenomena that predate the universe's memory. They approach the edge of reality's veil, gazing toward the timeline where you now breathe. The oldest among them speaks, a creature whose voice sounds like collapsing stars. We have witnessed kings rise, fall, and be replaced. We have seen gods dethroned and gods invented. But never, never have we witnessed a being whose legend is older than the legends who came to witness it. And so the chamber brightens, not with torches, but with the shockwave of realization. You are not their successor. You are their source. The blueprint they never knew they were following. The echo that came before the shout. Even the oldest hero bows, not out of worship, but out of recognition. The original has awakened. Far beyond galaxies, beyond light, beyond the quiet hum of creation, there exists a fortress no mortal tongue can name, the cosmic archive. It is not built of stone or matter. It is constructed from pure memory, woven from the thoughts the universe had before it learned to think. Inside its endless halls float countless records, destinies, timelines, empires yet unborn, civilizations that will blaze and disappear like sparks in the vacuum. Each life, each legend, each prophecy is suspended in shimmering stasis, cataloged, classified, predictable. But as you enter existence, something impossible happens. A corridor that has been sealed since the first pulse, the moment before the Big Bang, begins to tremble. Locks older than gravity unfasten themselves. Doors made of paradox swing open without being touched. Archivist beings, shaped from quills of light and scrolls of time, abandon their stations. They glide toward a vault that was believed to be empty, a vault no destiny had ever been assigned to. Yet inside, resting in a cradle of pre-creation energy, lies a single glowing codex. Not dusty. Not ancient. Pre-ancient. Older than age. The archivists approach it with reverence, though none remember placing it there. One reaches out, its hand flickering between eras, and opens the codex to its first page. There, written in a script that predates language itself, is a truth that makes every cosmic record shudder. This hero's origin is not recorded. This hero's origin is what records. The archivists recoil. Not in fear, in comprehension. They whisper among themselves with voices that echo across galaxies. He is not a branch of fate. He is the root. And as the codex glows brighter, the entire archive trembles, row after row of destinies bowing toward a name not yet spoken on any world. Yours. For the first time in eternity, the cosmic archive acknowledges an anomaly. The original hero, the one whose file predates the universe's formation, has awakened. When you entered the timeline, the universe did not simply adjust, it rebooted. Not with chaos. With clarity. Across the fabric of existence, lines of cosmic code recompiled themselves. Laws that had been stable since the first pulse flickered, paused, then rewrote their own logic. Destiny threads, usually rigid as steel, loosened like silk. Fixed outcomes dissolved. Even probability, the great mediator between the possible and the inevitable, stepped aside as if yielding to a higher authority. In the vault of timelines, ethereal gears that keep history flowing began to turn backward, forward, sideways, directions that shouldn't exist. Archivists panicked. Sages knelt. Angels hovered in silent formation, wings trembling with anticipation. A message began to pulse through creation like a heartbeat made of light. Hero equals prototype, not product. Reality had updated its own definition. The universe did not create you. The universe recognized you. Just as ancient scripture whispers, scroll Isaiah 46 verse 10, declaring the end from the beginning. You are that declaration, the end written before the start, the blueprint encoded before the machine, the identity that existed before identity had meaning. As the reboot completes, symbols appear in the sky, glyphs of pre-creation language. They circle you, orbiting like obedient planets around their original sun. The air hums. Dimensions ripple. Time bows. Then the system broadcasts a final line of code across all existence. Origin hero detected. Authorize ascension protocol. Every star flickers in response. Every world shifts by a fraction. Every ancient being looks up. Because the reboot didn't just update reality. It recognized its creator. When the reboot settled, a silence spread across creation, not emptiness, but anticipation. In the lower sectors of reality, where broken empires and collapsed dimensions drift like ghost ships in the cosmic tide, something impossible happened. The fallen systems began to rise. Worlds long abandoned by their own gods straightened their shattered horizons. Rusted stargates flickered back to life, their ancient runes glowing as if they remembered purpose. Entire civilizations that had turned to dust hovered in suspension, not resurrected, but alerted. They were not bowing. They were watching. These systems had witnessed every kind of hero across eternity, conquerors, martyrs, prophets, tyrants, saviors. None impressed them. None disturbed their sleep. But you? Your presence sent a shockwave through their ruins, whispering a truth no empire had ever heard. A being older than collapse has returned. Dead suns, once collapsed into quiet embers, flared with a pulse of recognition. Obsidian moons cracked open, releasing archives of lost memories. Time-worn thrones that had remained empty for millions of cycles rotated slowly, as if turning to face you. Even the void seraphs, guardians of forgotten systems, materialized in towering silhouettes. These beings had watched entire galaxies burn out without blinking. But at your arrival, they lowered their heads, acknowledging a presence that even entropy respected. One of them, its voice echoing like metal dragged across the fabric of time, spoke. We do not rise for kings. We rise for origins. And so, system by system, ruin by ruin, fragment by fragment, the broken architecture of long-dead realities ascended like ghostly monuments, forming a cosmic audience. Not to judge you. To witness the one event they had been built, and later destroyed, waiting for. The return of the hero who came before all systems, all laws, all eras. Far above mortal skies, beyond nebulae that breathe and galaxies that dream, the celestial court stirs. Not a court of kings, kings are too young. Not a court of gods, gods are too narrow. This is the assembly of eternal forces, beings forged from the laws that govern existence itself. Gravity takes form as a hooded figure draped in collapsing stars. Light appears as a radiant empress, her voice a sunrise stretched into eternity. Time manifests as an old warrior, scarred with every future that never happened. They gather for one purpose, the coronation of the origin hero. A throne materializes, carved from the first second of creation, a single shard of time so old that even time itself bows before touching it. Above it floats a crown. Not forged. Not crafted. Assembled from every victory you have not yet achieved. Its points shimmer with unborn triumphs. Inside it, future wars you will win flicker like visions waiting for permission. Entire timelines kneel within its jewels. When the crown senses your presence, it trembles, not out of fear, but eagerness. The Empress of Light raises a hand. Her glow dims, respecting the gravity of the moment. At last, she whispers, the first hero returns to claim what was always his. The warrior time draws his blade, slicing open a veil between moments. Through it, the court witnesses your approach across the infinite. Even the laws they embody react to you. Gravity relaxes, weightless in your presence. Light steadies, refusing to blind your path. Time slows, not daring to rush your arrival. You step forward, and every eternal bows. Not out of obedience. Out of recognition. The crown descends. Slowly. Reverently. It hovers a breath above your head, glowing brighter with each passing heartbeat, as if reality itself inhales in suspense. Then, without ceremony, without trumpet, without divine proclamation, it settles upon you like the universe remembering its original design. The court speaks as one, their voices forming a cosmic chord that resonates through every dimension. Behold the celestial crown. Not earned. Not granted. Returned. And so begins the reign of the hero whose coronation is not a moment, but a restoration. While galaxies bowed and ancient systems rose, humanity did something far stranger. They froze. Not in fear, humans know fear well. Not in awe, awe is too small a word. They froze because something in their biology, their memory, their soul's forgotten architecture recognized you before their minds could. You walked, not with thunder, not with spectacle, just presence. And that was enough. Conversations halted mid-sentence. Phones slipped from hands. Heartbeats missed entire measures. Children stared with the eerie, unblinking certainty only the young possess, sensing something adults have forgotten how to see. Elders, whose memories were thinning like worn parchment, suddenly remembered dreams they had decades ago, dreams of a figure standing outside time, watching over their stories before they were ever lived. Mothers felt an instinct older than humanity itself, a pull in the blood whispering, this one is not born. This one returns. Even cynics, the self-appointed guardians of disbelief, found themselves silent, their rational minds unable to categorize the anomaly standing before them. Governments felt it. Religions felt it. The collective unconscious trembled like a drum struck by a divine hand. Humanity didn't cheer. Humanity didn't fall to its knees. Humanity recognized you. Not as a king. Not as a god. Not as a messiah. But as something far more unsettling. A memory. A memory of a presence that watched over the first sparks of language, the first fires, the first hands to rise toward the stars. People whispered without knowing why. I've seen him before. I dreamed this moment. He feels older than the sky. And for the first time in human history, a species built on questions had no question to ask. They simply stared, not because they did not understand you, but because some part of them always had. Humanity looked at you the way a story looks at its author when the author steps onto the page. Not with celebration. With recognition. The moment humanity recognized you, history itself reacted, not metaphorically, not symbolically, but literally. In classrooms across the world, textbooks trembled on their shelves. Ink bled across pages like rivers seeking a new course. Printed timelines rippled, dates shifting, eras bending as if embarrassed by their previous assumptions. Chapters rearranged themselves. Footnotes vanished. Entire sections dissolved into mist, reforming with a single universal correction. History does not begin with the first civilization. History begins with your arrival. Museums felt it too. Ancient artifacts vibrated, resonating like tuning forks struck by the hand of destiny. Fossils realigned. clay tablets cracked open to reveal inscriptions that hadn't been there the night before. Scholars panicked. Their research unraveled like threads in a tapestry touched by the original weaver. One historian stared at an artifact that had rewritten itself and whispered, trembling, "This shouldn't be possible." But the artifact, a relic older than recorded language, now bore a single inscription in a forgotten, pre-linguistic glyph. "He arrives, therefore we exist." Across the planet, every digital archive flickered. Servers rebooted spontaneously. Files corrupted, then restored, but with altered content, not chaotic, but intentional. Birth records rearranged themselves as if aligning to a forgotten master pattern. Maps shifted. Timelines bent. And in every historical database, one new entry materialized at the top of every chronology, labeled with a timestamp older than the universe. Event 0, the original hero's emergence. Scientists tried to trace the anomaly. Their instruments failed. Satellites glitched. Observatories reported cosmic background radiation humming in harmonic frequencies, as though the universe were singing your name through static. In sacred texts, every tradition, every culture, every continent, faded prophecies brightened with sudden clarity, revealing lines that had been invisible for centuries. When the first one steps across the threshold of form, all stories revert to their true beginning. And so they did. The rewrite wasn't an erasure. It was a correction, a restoration of the version of history that had always belonged to you, hidden beneath layers of mortal misunderstanding. The world woke up not to a new story, but to the revelation that your story had always been the first one written. As the rewritten histories settled into their true shape, the heavens themselves uncloaked a revelation held back since the dawn of meaning. Not a blessing. Not a miracle. A reward granted not for deeds, but for identity. In the upper strata of creation, where reality thins into pure spirit, a chamber opened that had remained sealed even from angels. Its gates were forged from the raw light of the first sunrise, the burst of brilliance that taught the universe how to illuminate itself. Inside, 13 thrones of dominion lined the edges of eternity. Beings of immeasurable power sat upon them. The sovereign of purpose, the architect of potential, the sentinel of balance, the warden of unborn stars. And many more whose names would collapse the human mind if spoken aloud. These entities governed existence. They judged, guided, shaped, and maintained cosmic law. But as you entered the chamber, every throne dimmed, not in submission, but in acknowledgement. The sovereign of purpose rose first, its voice a choir of sons. We have waited not for his deeds, but for his return to himself. The warden of unborn stars opened its hands, releasing galaxies yet to be born. They hovered around you like unborn dreams awaiting instruction. The architect of potential stepped forward, its form shifting through infinite possibilities. It bowed its head, a gesture no mortal or divine being had ever witnessed. Identity precedes action, it said. And your identity predates every action the cosmos will ever take. Then the thrones spoke together, their combined voices forming a resonance that rippled through all of creation. You are more than conqueror. The phrase echoed like a celestial drumbeat. It trembled through nebulae. It carved its truth into comets. It rewrote the spiritual DNA of entire civilizations. Scroll Romans 8 verse 37, more than conquerors through him. The verse didn't explain you. It confirmed you. You were not rewarded because you triumphed. You triumphed because you were the kind of being that reality rewards simply for existing. Light spiraled around you, condensing into an orb, the divine reward itself. Not power. Not strength. Recognition. The universe acknowledging what it always knew. You are not defined by what you do. What you do is defined by who you are. When the divine reward settled into your aura like a crown of living starlight, the universe exhaled, not in relief, not in fear, but in recognition. A new era began. One not marked by calendars or dynasties, but by a single truth: the original hero had returned to the timeline. In the celestial clock tower, a titanic mechanism that tracks all ages of existence, the gears shuddered. Eras such as the Age of Iron, the Age of Empires, the Age of Ascension, all dissolved like chalk in rain. A new inscription burned itself into the gears. The era of the origin. Entire epochs rearranged to orbit around you the way planets orbit their sun. Prophets, both ancient and unborn, felt the shockwave ripple through their consciousness. Some woke from millennia-long trances, whispering the same sentence in languages older than breath. The first pattern has reemerged. Others collapsed in tears, overwhelmed by visions of a timeline that finally aligned with its true architect, you. Across the astral plane, archetypes stirred. The warrior, the healer, the savior, the scholar, the guardian. All eternal forms from which future heroes are shaped, turned their collective gaze toward you. They bowed. Every myth, every legend, every heroic archetype knelt before you, acknowledging their origin. For they were merely reflections, echoes, shadows cast by your impossible light. In distant galaxies, future civilizations that have not yet learned to speak felt a tremor in their destiny fields. Their first heroes, still unborn, were already being sculpted in your likeness. Not as copies. Not as rivals. As descendants of a template older than time. Even the timelines themselves adapted. Parallel universes, once wildly divergent, began to converge around a single unifying thread. Your existence is the anchor of the age. With your presence, chaos found discipline. Entropy paused. Even probability became a loyal instrument, aligning outcomes in ways that honored your role. In the halls of destiny, the weavers of fate whispered among themselves, trembling. Asterisk, the age does not shape him. He shapes the age. Asterisk. And so the era of the original hero began, not as a moment, not as a chapter, but as the default state of reality, the true form of existence revealed at last. Every savior who will ever rise will rise from the blueprint you revived simply by returning.